Here in MATLAB, we have our different data right here, where we have all of the data together, our inputs separated from our outputs. Using MATLAB, we will then use the built-in app of neural net pattern recognition. Here, we will see that the application uses inputs that we will give it, a certain amount of hidden layers that we'll use, an output layer which eventually generates an output. Here we select the data so that we can make the prediction later on, training and testing the data points. Here we see we have a 100 by 12 matrix representing the data as inputs, and 100 by 1 matrix showing the outputs. And in the training and validation step, we will separate it with 70% of the training data here, which is 70 samples, 15 for validation, and 15 finally for testing. We then move on to selecting the amount of hidden neurons, which in this case we will choose 20 of them, and that will generate one output layer which will give us an output for the data. We will then train the data to see what model it will produce and check its accuracy against its own data that's put in and the validation and testing data that is later tested against. Here in the confusion matrix, we can see that the training data has an accuracy of 94% total, and inaccuracy, therefore, of 5.7%. During the validation process, we can see that it's 100% accurate, while the testing data set is rather inaccurate with 60% as the result. Overall, we have 90% accuracy, and that's reasonable since we had somewhat subjectivity in our data. And here we can see the ROC, where we have the validation very good, the training is alright, and the test ROC, as we saw before, was not exactly where we want it to be. Moving on, we can train it again or do different steps here. We will be moving on here to making the MATLAB matrix only function. And we can see here that there is a 99% of keeping that professor if they have all positive attributes. Thank you.